Hello and welcome to Connect with County Leaders. I'm Bryan Hill. On this edition of the podcast, it's my pleasure to welcome Stephanie Berkowitz, CEO of Northern Virginia Family Services. Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Bryan.
And I got to give you some props. All right?
Uh-oh.
Got to give you some props. Top 50.
Yes.
Hold on, let's do that.
Okay.
All right. So
do I get to respond, though?
you can.
Because top 50, as you know, Bryan, anytime any CEO is in any recognized place, it has really everything to do with all the people in the organization and the community and the partnerships and everything. So I credit NVFS as being top 50, top 100.
Yeah. And I feel the same way. I mean, walking through the hallways here, just, engaging with our team, engaging with each and every resident. Yeah, it's all about us. It's not about me or you.
Right.
But, it's a really good recognition for Northern Virginia Family Services. But, tell us what you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. So at Northern Virginia Family Services, we've been around for now 101 years, which is staggering, and it makes you pause for a moment. Or why does a safety net human service organization still need to be around? For you'd hope by now that the challenges of society have moved beyond, but here we are. We operate a full range of holistic, comprehensive services, everything from addressing food insecurity to early childhood education and mental health access, children, child and family well-being. Our approach is really holistic, and we've reached about 40,000 community residents in the region. We've got about 400 staff, and fundamentally what we're doing is we are helping any individual and family that comes to us in need and move beyond the crisis, create stability for them, and the ultimate goal is long-term economic well-being.
So when you say 40,000, it's Northern Virginia, so it's just not Fairfax.
Correct.
Do you have numbers that could help me understand what it is in Fairfax, let alone Prince William, Loudoun, Alexandria, Arlington? Could you give me a little context of the geography?
We're about 25 to 30% of the folks that we serve are in Fairfax County, similar percentage in Prince William County, and then the breakdown of the rest is Loudoun County, Arlington, Alexandria, city of Alexandria, sorry, and all the cities they're in. Yeah.
When I look at what you do and the collaboration that you have with our Board of Supervisors to achieve the mission, tell me one thing about that mission and my board, because my board is, again, a part of that top 50. Without the board, I couldn't be there. We couldn't be there. But they are really leaders in the region. So tell us about that mission.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard you say it. I've heard Chris Leonard say it. I've heard Chairman McKay say it. There is no social safety net without the partnership between the public sector and the nonprofit sector. And Fairfax County Board, you, Chris, your team, champion that every day in the actions and the decisions. And I always think about, I know we're in budget season, and budgets are a reflection of values, right? Overlaid with reality. Yeah. And those decisions, there is no right answer. There is no perfect answer. There's just a series of decisions that lead to then the execution of those decisions over the course of the next year. And the leadership and the place where Fairfax County starts, where all the supervisors start, is with the resident, is with the community, it's with heart. And that's exactly where NVFS starts every day. It starts with the client, it starts with the community, it starts with their resident, and it starts with the heart.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make sure that my team realizes that we're going to edit out Chris Leonard's name. I mean, I'm going to say it right there.
All right.
All jokes aside, no. Deputy County Executive of Health and Human Services, Chris Leonard's absolutely fantastic in the way he's been able to lead his team.
Yeah.
So we really work well together, and I'm very happy and very fortunate to have him as the Deputy County Executive here at Fairfax.
It's incredible.
All jokes aside.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Fund for Families campaign.
Yeah, so we launched a capital campaign right before COVID. Great timing. Fundamentally, the core values and the core purpose are still critical. And what we're doing is what we saw is like everybody else, there's a critical the drivers of the mental health crisis in our community, right? The drivers are. There just simply is not sufficient housing to address the issues of our unhoused population. There is a childcare crisis in our country, in our region. And so, when we look at the greatest challenges that are in front of us, we're always looking at how do we innovate, how do we solve, how do we leverage every dollar that we receive from everywhere, whether that's a public dollar, that's a private dollar, that's a corporate dollar. How do we leverage that for something greater and bigger than the thing in front of us? So the Fund for Families campaign is really about an ability to continue to innovate and solve the largest challenges, whether those are today or preparing us to being prepared to solve them in the future.
Well, you say that the organization's 101 years, and we, obviously done different things over the 101 years.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is you mentioned mental health, sufficient housing,
Right.
unhoused, and childcare.
Sounds a lot like Fairfax County strategic plan.
It's about a collective whole.
Right.
But how did we get in this situation? Do you have any ideas how we got here? Because, when I'm looking back at time, the issues were always housing,
Right.
and it was always childcare. Now we have the mental health,
Right.
and the unhoused more permeate,
Right.
in our society, and I don't see us with the ability locally. We're trying our best, but
Right.
from a federal and a state, I'm wondering what and how they're going to help us.
Yeah, right. And I think about this a lot, and I know that Fairfax County is a leader. There's no doubt about it. Regionally and nationally, there's so many places where Fairfax County is looked to see how are we doing it here and how might we do it elsewhere. And so I have no doubt that in this county we're going to solve the local issues on a local level. Will every person in this county have a home?
Yeah.
And absolutely, there will be a time. You've got the vision, you've got the team, we've got the political will. But fundamentally, how do we solve these societal challenges? Until we fundamentally believe collectively across every sector and across every society that nobody should be unhoused, that every single person deserves health care, that mental health is something that we should care about fundamentally. Until we solve those and align on a belief that attainable housing is a right, health care is a right, child care is a right.
Right.
I don't know how because they're all interconnected.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? They're all interconnected. You can't solve one. It just becomes a domino effect.
All right. The late Jerry Connolly, he developed the OPI, Office to Prevent Homelessness.
Yeah.
And I'm still listening to him in my ears. But you need to do more. You need to do more.
Yeah.
The problem with doing more is when we do more, we need more. And when we need more people to understand how big of a problem this actually is, especially when it comes to mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't get that. I don't think people get that. But you and your team are doing the right thing, and
Right.
I love you for that, because you give me some peace knowing that we have good providers helping us get to yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think what gives me peace is knowing that is the public-private partnerships that we have. And it is the generosity of this community. I think when people know and people understand, they look for ways to engage. They look for ways to give back. The safety net, the human service organizations in this region are so strong. They're so powerful. They're so impactful. And all of us are creating a vehicle where that opportunity for the larger community to engage in order to help the community.
So as you know, when I came to Fairfax County, they wanted me to implement One Fairfax.
Right.
I said to Jeff
Yeah.
McKay, Chairman Jeff McKay, at that time, lead district, which changed to Franconia. Just want to make sure we know that. What is this, right? And he says, well, it's what I view as access and equity for all. I said, there's no way to implement it if you don't have a strategic plan.
Right.
And he says, okay, well then implement a strategic plan. I see you have one. So what are the goals that you've set in your strategic plan?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of our goals just fundamentally is looking at the whole person and everything that we do. So we start off with being community-centered, person-centric, and looking at opportunities to serve deeply. Meaning we have a large reach. 40,000 people in the region is a lot. But what's more important than the number of people we reach is how well are we serving the individual that is in front of us. If we can deeply ensure that the root causes of whatever brought that person created the crisis in the first place are mitigated, then we have helped another person, another family thrive, and hopefully for the long term. So that whole person approach, that integrated approach, looking across the organization and across the community and across the region at partnerships and strategic partnerships, and ensuring that that we can address the whole person in
Right.
community all the time.
No, it's all about the community.
It's always about community. And then the thread through all of our goals and our plan is that is what you're talking about, equity and access and ensuring opportunity for all. I'm really excited and proud of our organization. We have a mission integration part of the organization that looks at every single thing that we do internally and externally and ensures that we are always client-centric, community-centric, and that we have a lens on opportunity and equal access in everything that we do.
Well, I noticed that you guys are growing.
Yeah.
And so talk to me about SCAN,
Oh,
how that merger has brought a different lens to what you do for the Northern Virginia Family Services.
yeah.
SCAN has stopped child abuse now. So tell us how that has been a part into your new way of thinking.
Right. So, Stop Child Abuse Now, SCAN, had two core programs, and I know that you and your listeners are probably familiar with one of them. One is the CASA program, it's the court-appointed special advocates, and another is a set of family programs that work holistically with families around parent education and other components that are critically important. And what every CASA program across the country brings is a level of advocacy and focus on the child and child well-being, and it's an extension of the child welfare system, as it used to be called, bit of an archaic terminology, but it's still out there, looking at children in foster care and kinship care and all of those different pieces. So what the merger with SCAN enables us to do is really leverage those skills, leverage that, and build out our child well-being, family well-being entity and area.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, obviously I have a lot of questions to ask you. So if you could give me your insight on the Escala program and what that means to you, and where are we going with that?
Oh, gosh. So our Escala program is a small business entrepreneurship program. And as you know, and as the county has deeply recognized, small businesses are critical economic drivers in any community.
Right.
And pathways to economic well-being come in lots of different forms. For some, it's you literally need a job in order to pay the rent. For others, it's upskilling, it's reskilling. For many in our community, it's helping translate degrees from all around the world into areas of economic opportunity here in the region. And for Escala, this is all about small business and entrepreneurship. We've graduated. We've partnered with over at least 500 entrepreneurs over the last decade who have created new businesses in the community, which means that they've got employees or adding to the tax base. They're doing things in a whole different way, and it is some of the most inspiring stories and opportunities and work that happens when you see someone's vision, a person who has a vision, who has a skill set, and they have a license to operate in Fairfax County, and they go out there and they start their new business.
There's a little known fact. People believe that Fairfax County is just about large business.
Right.
94% of our businesses in Fairfax County are 50 or less employees.
Right.
That is the livelihood is there.
Yeah.
But it's so many small businesses supporting everything we do. And it is, again, about all the community.
Right.
Right. So,
Right.
but when you look at Fairfax County, the big businesses, the 6% employ 75% of the people.
Absolutely.
But it's a small business that makes it worthwhile here.
Right. It's right. It's like you said, it's what builds that sense of community. And usually, oftentimes, the small businesses are bringing such a lovely culture and sense of personality to a community.
Yeah. Well, with the national child care crisis in mind, how is NVFS supporting parents who struggle with work and paying for child care?
Yeah. Well, literally, to answer your question, we operate Head Start and Early Head Start and early childhood programming. We run preschool classrooms all over the region, and our core model is that across NVFS, including in our early childhood spaces, is as if you have a need like childcare, we will help address that, of course, at no cost or a nominal cost if it's a sliding fee. But what we're also doing is that we're working with you holistically to figure out what else is needed.
Right.
The childcare crisis is real, and without investments and subsidies, and when there's budget pressures and there's restrictions and there's things that tighten up, the inability to have a child in a safe place during the day creates a direct link to an inability for a parent to go to work. Right. No, so we have the ability to work with over 400 families every day to help ensure that they're stable, and have the tools and the resources and the skills and to maintain their childcare.
Wow, you guys are doing a lot.
We do a lot. I think that what I love about our work in the early childhood space too is the partnerships that we have with local jurisdictions and the innovative ways that we help stabilize the child care space. So we also work in one jurisdiction with stabilizing costs. There's some local dollars that are invested to help subsidize costs. That creates another way to stabilize the number of child care slots in a community. Fairfax County does a tremendous job looking at all the different mixed delivery and Virginia Preschool Initiative and Head Start and putting all those pieces together, because there is no one solution to any of these pieces. You've got to put the whole pie together.
So what is the one unspoken human services crisis in Northern Virginia you wish more donors and policymakers needed to know? Yeah, I like asking these deep.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I think that, well, first a little bit what we talked about earlier, that fundamentally we can keep solving a crisis at a time, or we can keep solving an issue at a time. But if we don't align from a value standpoint on what is fundamentally important to us as a society, we're never going to address the entirety of any situation. I see the area that gets the least amount of visibility, it gets a tremendous amount of visibility within NVFS, but as a society is remembering and recognizing that the people who do the work need to be supported and need to be valued and need to be compensated and need to be sustained. And when you have a sector that is built on the generosity of donors, meaning that all of our budgets are built from the ground up, right? From grants and the generosity of the community. And when there's volatility in funding, there's also volatility in the ability to retain staff. And then we lose incredible talent in the community. So we take that very seriously. The number one focus for us always, when I talked about our budget being a representation of values, we always put our employees first.
So NVFS relies heavily on volunteers.
Absolutely.
So what is the most high impact way residents can get involved, like right now, like today?
Today, absolutely. Well, there are tremendous needs in the community.
Right.
A lot of them right now are financial for families, and the way any organization like ours delivers services is through the people. The people are out there, our staff are out there delivering the services. So cash donations for any organization right now is really the greatest single most effective way. Food insecurity is real. And I guarantee that there's somebody out there that their neighbor or someone in their child's classroom is experiencing food insecurity. So donations of tangible supplies like food and diapers and baby supplies, those types of things that are expensive make a big difference. And there's a lot of organizations like us that have the ability and the relationships to get that out into the hands of families in need. Lots of volunteer opportunities, lots of ways to get involved.
That's awesome. So now you have started the CARE Awards that recognizes employers for outstanding workplace policies and cultures that support employees and their families. What is the connection to NVFS?
Yeah. We're so proud of our connection with CARE. CARE is a lot easier to say than NVFS.
It is. We got to figure out a new one for that, because I'm thinking when I'm saying it, I'm like, okay. Because, I don't need to edit. All right.
CARE Award winners are all about companies that invest in their community and value their investments in community engagement and invest in their employees, because there's a recognition that employees are the true economic driver of every company. You can look at a balance sheet, you can look at a profit and loss statement, you can look at financial statements, you can look at all those things, look at the financial health of a company. But what the Care Awards does is it recognizes those that put their employees as the primary driver of success for a company. And that's what MVFS is all about. It's about the people. It's about investing in families. It's about ensuring that, recognizing that when we invest in the people, we build a stronger, a thriving community.
Stephanie, thank you so much for being here. Anybody listening to this podcast, I need them to understand a couple things. Find your local nonprofit. Support. It's about community. And with you and the other nonprofits in our region, we want to thank you so much for all the work you do to help us with our people here in Fairfax County, as well as Northern Virginia, as well as the DMV. So thank you for being on my podcast today. Stephanie Berkowitz, CEO of the Northern Virginia Family Services, thank you again for being here. Still to come, a new employee spotlight feature on the podcast called Connect with the Gang. And this month, we're connecting with Nancy Cordova with our Fairfax County Department of Family Services. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know empowerment and support for residents facing vulnerability is an area of focus in Fairfax County? Visit our website and find out how the county is shaping the future of Fairfax to become a place where all residents facing vulnerability are empowered and supported to live independent lives to their fullest potential.
Hey, welcome back to Connect with County Leaders podcast. It's time for our employee spotlight, Connect with the Gang, with Nancy Cordova, Public Assistance and Employment Services in the Department of Family Services. Nancy, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me about your role in Public Assistance and Employee Services, or PAES, P-A-E-S. I don't know how do you pronounce that.
PAES.
PAES? All right.
So yes, my name is Nancy Cordova. I work with the Department of Family Services, Public Assistance and Employment Services Division, known as PAES. I am the Human Services Outreach Worker, so I help with the community members to help them learn about our programs, enroll, and then our goal is to help them get connected with us.
So recently, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which everybody knows as SNAP, was temporarily disrupted by the federal shutdown. What other types of assistance does PAES make available for folks who potentially didn't have the SNAP for a couple weeks?
So yes, besides SNAP, we have Medicaid, which is one of the largest programs that we administer. It's the low-cost or no-cost health insurance that helps 150,000 Fairfax County residents with their medical needs. We also have TANF, which is the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program, and it's a cash assistance program. And we have our Energy Assistance program, which is the seasonal program that helps with the costs for heating and cooling. And then we have a number of employment services as well.
So you're saying 150,000 are on Medicaid. That's like actually it's a little more than 10% of our population. That is a staggering amount of people. When you look at Medicaid, can you tell me the demographics of it? Is it many folks over 65, folks 40 to 65? Can you do the demographics?
Not specifically, but with the families that I serve, it ranges. It could be a single individual that's young. It could be a single individual that's older, families with younger children or older children.
So how do you and the PAES outreach team spread the word about the different options for adults and families that need financial help?
So our outreach team takes 3 different approaches. One of them being that we give info sessions, information sessions or presentations to the community where we can help present about what our services are, how to access them, and help families feel more encouraged to do so without feeling so intimidated to navigate those services. And then we also do tabling at different events like health fairs, or if it's back to school fairs. We also go to farmers markets to share about our SNAP program. And then I also go weekly to different co-locations that are community partners. And I sit one-on-one with families and individuals to help them either gain access to the programs, stay enrolled, or just learn about what PAYS has to offer.
That's awesome. So what do you do with the information you gain by working so extensively in the community?
So on a monthly basis, I provide an outreach report where I share it with our internal strategy committee known as the InReach Outreach Team. And we create messaging and build awareness about new issues that may arise. And then I also do quarterly reports that I share with the DFS leadership, or PAYS leadership, and the DFS communications team. And I help kind of give insight and feedback from the community members so we can learn more about what's going on. And then I'm also part of the community customer and community cornerstone, and we kind of strategize to help improve the customer experience.
That's awesome. So how can people help spread the word about the essential programs and services, especially during the holiday season?
So right now, I mean, we'd love to come out and be a part of different community or neighborhood events. If anybody would like to invite us, we have an online forum where we can come out and do this presentation and inform the community of our services. And then DFS has a number of holiday donation drives going on right now, and both the forum and the drives can be found online through the DFS website.
So you came to your current role in PAYS through a PAYS program. Tell me more about that and how you came to work for the county.
Yeah.
As you smile, because working for the county is pretty awesome.
Yes, that's something that I'm really proud of. I started a few years back. I participated in what's known as a private eye program, is educating youth through employment. It's a program that helps youth gain access to work, to job development, and I got to meet really wonderful people, and through that I've just continued to work on my professional development and use the resources that are available here in Fairfax County.
So local government at work.
Yes.
You like that?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Connect with County Leaders podcast. My thanks to Nancy Cordova and to Stephanie Berkowitz, CEO of the Northern Virginia Family Services, for being here this month. And thanks to you for joining us. I look forward to talking with you again next month on another episode of Connect with County Leaders. And Nancy, thank you so much for taking this time out.
Thank you.
It wasn't too bad.
No, perfect.
Todo.